Hey you guys, Mar-lyn with Beautiful Bina Designs. You may have noticed that I haven't put out as many videos recently as I normally like to. And there's no big major reason for that. It is just life is busy sometimes. My family and I, we took a wonderful vacation to spend time with additional family out on the East Coast. We're from Arizona, so that was quite an adventure for us. And you know, whenever you want to take time off from work at the office, there's always extra to be done before you leave. And then again, when you return, just so you can kind of stay on top of things. So I've been busy at work. And more recently, my kids went back to school. So there was Meet the Teacher night and curriculum night and all that good stuff. It's all good. It's all great, as a matter of fact, but sometimes just a little bit busy, right? Life can be busy, especially, I think, for everyone. Life can be busy for everyone, but I do feel as a working mom, like sometimes especially for us. And so it's with that in mind that I'm making this card today. I'm here today to share with you Tuesday Quickie. This is going to be featuring Hero Arts, and I'm using the most recent My Monthly Hero Kit. It is the one with the coffee theme. It's got the coffee mugs, tea mugs, hot cocoa mugs, whatever you want them to be. They're really pretty, very cool set. Lots of accessories and some really cool sentiments. I am thrilled to be back here with you guys. I've really missed crafting and making these videos and especially interacting with you. So I'm going to dive right in, but please drop me a comment below. I love hearing from you guys, and I'd really be interested in what you think of the card, but everything else too. Did you have a summer vacation this year? Do you think life is super busy for working moms? If you're a working mom, or even if you're a mom who doesn't work outside of the house, I bet you are really busy. So anyway, drop me a line. Let's chat. Let's say hello. But before that, let's make a card. All right, so today I am going to be using, again, this video features the My Monthly Hero Kit from August 2018, and I'm going to be using this tall coffee mug, the one that is a pedestal mug. So we'll be using that. I am going to be stamping it on Bristol smooth cardstock because we'll be doing some real brush watercolor marker coloring. I am using VersaFine Clair in Fallen Leaves. But first, you guys, I always forget to use my anti-static powder tool. So look at this, I'm on top of it. For once, I'm on top of it. Now, I'm not saying this is the first time I attempted this stamp today because that would not be true. But this time, I'm on top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare this for embossing. We will be embossing this with a clear embossing powder once we get this image down on that Bristol smooth cardstock. So again, using the VersaFine Clair. This is my one and only, my first VersaFine Clair ink pad. I really do like it. The rumors are true, you guys. This is a great ink. So putting this down and trying to get a complete and even image, just applying some pressure, and let's see. That looks pretty good, you guys. So next we are going to take my Wow Clear Gloss Super Fine Embossing Powder and emboss this image. Now I like to do this for a couple of reasons. One, it creates those raised lines, and that helps me a little bit with my coloring. But more importantly than that, I think it adds a little bit of, just a little bit of interest, a little bit of dimension, and also that little bit of shine, I think, is appealing to the eye too. I think overall it just really brings the visual appeal up a notch. So I am going to go ahead and get my heat gun on and heat it up and melt this embossing powder. All right, there we go. That is fully melted and ready to be colored. Now, off camera, I did create, using the same VersaFine Clair Fallen Leaves ink and that same Wow Clear Gloss embossing powder, I embossed one of the whipped cream images as well. I put this on a thick textured watercolor cardstock. I thought it would give it just a little bit more dimension. Now we will add a little bit to this later, so the watercolor cardstock and that texture may or may not have been necessary, but that is what I used. We're going to put that aside for just a minute next to these other pieces, which I did prepare and pre-cut off camera as well. All right, so now we are going to go ahead and color this image in. And I'm going to be using 4 colors today. Crocodile Green, which is 126, and these are my Arteza Real Brush pens. So these are a water-based brush marker. Again, Crocodile Green, 126. Then we have Seaweed Green in 120, Seaweed Green 120. I love that they've put the names on these now. Coffee, how appropriate, in 134. This is one of my brown colors. And finally, Tawny, 137. So we've got 2 greens, 2 browns. I will also be using a little bit of water and a paintbrush. So I am, by nobody's standards, an expert in coloring. I have just really begun experimenting with both these markers as well as my alcohol-based markers. And if I may admit, I do see progress. I think I'm getting better at it. But certainly there is plenty of room for additional improvement. That being said, for these images, they're really not that complex. And I've colored several already. I think I'm able to get the job done. Maybe not perfectly, but I get the job done. Okay, so now taking that clean water and my paintbrush, I'm just going to start moving that color around. I like it to get that nice organic watercolor look. It will lighten up these colors quite a bit. Like the way it gives this appearance. When I look at these, I feel like it would be one of those ceramic mugs that are always sort of painted imperfectly. They have whether it's from the painting process or from the heating in the kiln, they kind of get that, I don't want to say speckled, but, you know, imperfect finish. And that's sort of what I'm envisioning as I'm painting these. And of course, while I'm talking, I'm going outside the lines a little bit, but that's no problem either because we'll take care of that in just a minute. Okay, so for this spot right here, I'm not sure how well you can even see it on the camera, but I did go outside of the lines right on that pedestal there. I'm going to clean off my brush and try to get water that's reasonably clean. I learned this from Christina Werner, and I am just going to add a bunch of water till that kind of disappears. All but disappears. Take my clean paper towel, take that extra water away, and you will see you cannot even tell that that ever happened. Really great watercolor trick. Works with regular watercolors as well as watercolor markers. All right, I'm going back in here with a little bit of this seaweed green now, and we'll mix these a little bit. And then add a little bit more water. Okay, there's our mug. Now we're going to color in our coffee. Now, a lot of the coffee will be covered up by the whipped cream, so I'm not going to spend too much time worried about that part. I had a little bit of a white spot there, so I'm just filling it in and blending these back in. Okay, so we will now set this aside to dry, and we will die cut that shortly. Moving on to assemble our card, I do have 2 pieces here, which are cut to your standard A2 size card, and we will just be putting this together. I used a textured sort of forest green, light forest green, that I'm going to use as our base. I'm just completely covering this white top fold note card in that green paper. And I do use Cougar, 110 pound, Cougar Digital it's called, 110 pound cardstock for most of my card bases, including this one. And then this I wanted to add to the front, but offset just a little. Okay, so next I have a piece of fun foam, and it is adhesive on one side. So we're going to stick this down to the center of our patterned paper. Now, historically, I don't use a lot of patterned paper in my cards, but I started doing so as part of my Meet Me at Tuesday Morning series. And in fact, this patterned paper I'm using, I did get at Tuesday Morning. It was part of a paper pad I featured in a recent video. I'll link that below in case you're interested in learning more about the paper. But it is a beautiful floral and watercolor style paper pad. It is really pretty, very versatile, and I have enjoyed making several cards with it already. Here we have our layered card base with our card panel on top. Today I'm going to be using my Sidekick to die cut out these images. Now this Sidekick machine is by no means essential. It doesn't really do anything that my Spellbinders Grand Caliber won't do. It just enables me to quickly and easily, right on my desk, die cut out some smaller images like this. And I like that because my larger die cut machine is not on my immediate work area desk. It's on a secondary desk in a different part of the room. It's nearby, so really I guess you could say I'm being very lazy, but I like to have as much as I can right at my fingertips. So sometimes with small images like this, I really enjoy using my Sidekick. And there we have our mug. Now we will be cutting out that whipped topping, again using the Sidekick. The one that I have is the Tim Holtz machine, and it came with a really fun set of number dies as well as a tag, a mini tag that you could cut out, and it was 3 pieces, so you could, actually it was 2 I guess, and you could cut out a ring to put around the hole in the tag as well, so you could get some really fun looks. But all right, moving back into these images, here is our whipped topping, and that looks really nice. Very fun image. Okay, moving this all aside for the time being. We have got our card base put together, and I'm going to use this piece of vellum. I'm using some multimedia matte by Ranger. All of my liquid gluing typically uses the Ranger multimedia matte. I love it. I have a great big jar of it, and I just keep refilling that detail applicator bottle. All right, so I'm going to take a second to glue these two pieces together. I am being careful to leave a little bit of that coffee in the mug exposed. I think it gives it more of a realistic appearance, in my opinion. And plus I like the additional color. Here today I said that this is a tie back, a throwback to all of us moms just being so busy. And I know everybody's busy, but I relate obviously the most to being a mom and a busy mom. And I feel like every once in a while we need to just remind ourselves to take a break. So that's what the sentiment's going to be today. Take a break. Once again, we're going to use that VersaFine Clair in Fallen Leaves, and we will heat emboss this. You know, maybe we'll do it like this. There we go. We will heat emboss this once again with clear gloss embossing powder. Again, using that Wow. And see, I told you I forgot to use my embossing anti-static tool. It's okay, since we won't be coloring this, it doesn't matter. Okay, once again, heating up my heating tool. So now that my multi-medium matte is dry, we are going to add some of the gloss lacquer pen that came with the kit, and I'm just going to try to make sort of a whipped topping design, just some lines in that. This is a technique that I saw several of the design team members use when they were sharing ideas for this kit. So I'm going to come in now with the white Puff Hero Arts embossing powder, which also came with the kit. I don't remember if I mentioned it, but the lacquer pen came with the kit as well. And I'm just going to try and keep the embossing powder off of that outline, because I like to be able to see that outline. So I'm just using my nail to kind of push it back into the image so that we still have that dark brown outline from that VersaFine Clair. Now, if you have not used this white puff embossing powder, I have featured it in previous videos because I actually had it in my stash even before we received it with this kit. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot for snow. I had never used it as a whipped topping, and I had never used it with this lacquer pen. But I'm going to go ahead here. I'm going to heat up my heat gun, and then I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to let you see this embossing powder puff up. I will turn the sound off so you don't have to hear my heat gun, but this is a pretty cool product. If you haven't tried it, you might be interested in giving it a try. Here we go. It looks like a whipped cream topping. It is really, really neat. All right, so we're going to give this just a second to dry. Now, before I would mail it or put anything on top of it or anything like that, I would definitely give this at least 24 hours to dry. That lacquer, that clear gloss lacquer pen, if you're not familiar with it, it's very similar to like a Glossy Accents, or what I use a lot is Morning Dew by Nuvo. It's a Nuvo drop. It's clear. And as you may know, those products do take quite some time to be really truly dry. So underneath this embossing powder, the embossing powder is melted. The embossing powder is ready to go, but underneath you have that lacquer, which I would definitely give at least 24 hours. All right, so now we're just gonna go ahead and put this card together, and I think I like this. Just go ahead and use some more of that fun foam. Okay, so we've added some liquid adhesive behind the image on that vellum so that it wouldn't show through. Now we're just going to trim off the excess using my long shears. It's looking good. And finally, finishing touches, we're just going to add a few iridescent sequins here and there. All right, and I think that's it for today's card. Nice take a break, enjoy a sweet treat, and I have several friends who immediately come to mind who certainly need to be reminded every now and then that it's okay to take a little bit of time for yourself, take a few minutes out of your busy day and just relax. So you guys, I hope you've enjoyed my card for today. Again, please drop me a line down below. I love hearing from you guys. And I hope that I have inspired you to make beautiful things. If you like my channel, please subscribe. If you like my video, a thumbs up is always great. I do add close-up pictures to my Facebook page. I'll link that Facebook page below. Thanks so much for spending your time with me, and I hope to talk with you again soon. Have a great night. Bye-bye.